Are you ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Good afternoon. This meeting of the City of Covington City Council dated June 6, 2023. I call that to order. If you would silence your phones or turn them off would be appreciated. And we'll go ahead and go through a roll call.
Councilman Lewis,
Here.
Councilman Botsford,
Here.
Councilman Roberts,
Here.
Councilwoman Ludwig,
Here.
Councilman Verrett,
Here.
Councilman Smith,
Here.
Councilman Rowley.
Here. If you would stand for a moment of silence, please. Councilwoman Cody Ludwig, would you lead us in the pledge? Thank you. We have one appearer tonight, Bishop E. Renee. My apologies. I'm sorry. I was ahead of myself. My apologies. We do have a, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Just want to verify. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go right into a presentation. Mayor Johnson.
Thank you, Councilman Rowling. Is this on?
We have new mics tonight, so bear with us.
So I'm not one that's really big on giving proclamations, but I have to say that the one we're doing this evening, I'm particularly happy to be a part of. The City of Covington, Louisiana Proclamation. Whereas the Junior League of Greater Covington is an organization of women committed to advancing women's leadership for meaningful community impact through volunteer action, collaboration, and training. And whereas the Junior League reaches out to women of all races, religions, and national origins who demonstrate an interest in and commitment to volunteerism, the organization's programs are exclusively educational and charitable. And whereas in March 1977, 9 women led by Martha Green, Sue Ellen Fay, and Judy Wolfe established the Greater Covington Junior Service League. And whereas in April 1999, in recognition of their accomplishments, the Greater Junior Service League, the Association of Junior Leagues International, named our local group the 295th affiliated member of the Association of Junior Leagues International. And whereas since its inception, the Junior League of Greater Covington has distributed more than $1.5 million for the community through service projects, grants, and direct monetary support, and over 100,000 hours of volunteer service. The Junior League of Greater Covington was instrumental in founding numerous nonprofits and advocacy projects, such as the Youth Service Bureau, North Lake Nature Center, Meals on Wheels, West St. Tammany YMCA, and the Children's Museum of St. Tammany, to name a few. And whereas the 220 current members, the Junior League of Greater Covington has provided over 4,000 volunteer and leadership training hours, contributing to an annual volunteer economic impact of over $100,000 annually to our community. And we recognize today that over the past 45 years, the League has developed more than 1,000 women to become advocates, enhancing the community through the spirit of volunteerism, and who have then become leaders within parish government, elected officials, the education system, healthcare, and beyond. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Mark Johnson, do hereby honor and commend the officers and members, past, present, and future, of the Junior League of Greater Covington, and I ask each of you to do the same on the occasion of the 45th anniversary of the organization, thereby reflecting with deep appreciation on their numerous contributions to their community. Y'all join me in a round of applause for the Junior League. Y'all want to come up and get the
Thank you, Mayor. Is there someone that wants to come up and, okay, there we go. You want to say a few words?
Well, first, thank you to Mayor Mark Johnson for recognizing us. I got chills hearing that statement. And thank you to the City Council for recognizing us. We're your neighbors. We literally are, less than probably 30 feet from you here, but sometimes it can feel like we're miles apart. And so all I ask is as we look into the next 45 years together, that you all look to your neighbor, use our women volunteers, our future leaders, our current leaders in our community, and ask what we can do to help you all out, because we want to be there side by side with each one of you as we build a greater, stronger, greater Covington and West St. Tammany together. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for this recognition.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. And hopefully the Junior League will be here for another 100 years. Thank you. Thanks for your hard work. Thank you. Okay, our peer is running a couple of minutes late. I'm going to go right into the consent calendar, and when he walks in, hopefully we can get that taken care of. Okay, the consent calendar, the regular meeting minutes, May 2nd, 2023. Introduction of item number 2023-0601, an ordinance of the City of Covington amending the Covington Code of Ordinances, Appendix B, Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance Part 3, Use District Section 3.41, LA Highway 21 Plan Corridor Overlay Zoning District, case number 230403 3Z text TXT. Next, introduction item number 2023-0602, an ordinance of the City of Covington levying, imposing, and adopting the millage rates on all property subject to taxation in the City of Covington, State of Louisiana, for the year 2023. If I could entertain a motion to accept the consent calendar.
Motion to accept.
Need a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Botsford,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilman Verrett,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis.
Yes.
Okay. Did he arrive yet? No. Okay. We'll go right into the regular agenda. We'll see. He might have to wait to get on there, okay? Unfinished business. Items to be voted on. Public hearing action item number 2023-0501, an ordinance of the City of Covington amending the following provisions of the Covington Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, Subdivisions, Article 3, Subdivision Applications and Procedures, Section 3.4, Administrative Subdivision 3.4A, 1C, and 3.4A, 2D. And I think administration, or Rod, do you want to kind of explain to that, Mr. Rodriguez?
Very briefly, we have on our zoning code the ability to do what's called an administrative re-subdivision, where the staff is able to review very minor requests and approve the re-subdivision in-house without requiring them to go before the planning commission. All we're doing is cleaning up some inconsistent language within our own code. If you read the code, it says the purpose of the code is to allow the lot line adjustment for 5 lots or less, but when you get into the body of the ordinance, in some places it refers to 5 lots, in some places it refers to 4 lots. So all we're doing is changing everything to match the intent of 5 lots or less to make it consistent. It's one of our cleanup items. If you recall, Nikita left a list of issues for the Planning Commission to review, and they're dealing with them as they come up. Frankly, the Planning Commission would like to have this done because quite often matters have to come before them that are really perfunctory, where someone has 4 lots and they're making 2 lots out of them, and they don't really want to put them on the agenda when it's something that doesn't require any real action on their part.
Okay, before we go into council comments, we're going to open it up to the public. Any comments from the public? Hearing none, seeing none. We'll go ahead and open it up at this time for council comments. Anyone from the council? Okay, hearing none. Whoop,
I've
okay,
got a
sure.
question, just clarification. It's to bypass going before planning and zoning or planning, right? Ultimately, it's still gonna have to come before the council.
No, these are subdivisions. Subdivisions never come before the council. There is no review process for subdivisions outside of the Planning Commission. So it's all within the planning department. It's only whether or not
It would only come before us on an appeals.
they can't even appeal to
So
you.
they
The only
can't appeal
remedy
any
is
of
to the
this.
22nd
Got it.
JDC from the Planning Commission. So
Okay.
you would never see this regardless.
Anyone else? Okay, so I need a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Motion to close.
Second.
Second.
Now I need a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig.
Yes.
Councilman Barrett.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Rowling.
Yes.
Councilman Lewis.
Yes.
Councilman Botsford.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, public hearing action item number 2023-0502, an ordinance of the City of Covington authorizing the mayor to purchase on behalf of the City of Covington a parcel of property in Section 37, Township 6 South, Range 11 East, St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana. Councilman Boxford.
Yes, this is a parcel of land that's actually landlocked that's going to benefit the Ozone Ball Field. It's a win-win for the city. The church has decided to sell to us, and they had to do some things, and everything's come to the point where we're at now, so to allow the mayor to purchase the property. It's going to just enhance the ball field, parking, as well as it kind of fits into the master plan.
Okay, win-win's a good term for that one. Okay, we're gonna open it up for any public comments at this time. That being said, council comments, anything additional? All right, that being said, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
I need a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt,
Motion to adopt.
and I will second that. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ludwig.
Yes.
Councilman Barrett.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Rowling.
Yes.
Councilman Lewis. Councilman Botsford.
Yes.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
Next, public hearing action item number 2023-0503, an ordinance of the City of Covington declaring surplus equipment owned by the City of Covington. Obviously, we do this every year. Would the administration like to comment a little bit about this?
Sure. This is pretty standard. As we have equipment that is broken or no longer usable, we come to you with a list of items for approval to surplus so that we can then auction them off. And then sometimes we donate them to another jurisdiction. In this case, that is not what's happening. We are just going to auction these.
All righty. Thank you for that. Okay, we'll open it up right this time for any public comments. Any public comments on behalf of this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll move right into council comments. Anything additional? Okay. That being said, we'll go ahead and entertain a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Motion to close?
Second? Thank you. A motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Verret,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis,
Yes.
Councilman Botsford,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig.
Yes.
Thank you. Public hearing action item number 2023-0504, an ordinance of the City of Covington to amend the 2023 operating and capital budget. Councilman Smith.
Thank you. This is just to move money out of the general fund for some very needed projects and concepts. We're looking at, with the fire department, we'll get to that one, because that's the one that you may or may not be familiar with. But I think you guys are familiar with the police request for an additional officer, a patrol officer. That's where they're gonna need some money for that. We're looking at a total of $89,770, which will pay for the benefits and his salary, his or her salary,
And a vehicle.
and a police vehicle, okay? We came to streets. Streets, we're looking at an increase of 310,000. Vast majority of that is 250,000 for a new street sweeper, which is a vital part of keeping our city pristine. And guess what? The one we have, I don't believe is in operation anymore. It's just, it's been repaired and it's just done, okay? These, this type of equipment's $250,000, but I think it's a good investment for our city to do that. The $60,000 expenditure is, in a few of you on the council have taken a tour of the Public Works facility. And a couple of things, I know Councilman Rowland and I were on with the mayor, and we were looking at some of the equipment just sitting out in the weather, okay? They don't have any shelter for it. So we were discussing, hey, we keep spending good money on pieces of equipment. We ought to at least keep them kind of out of the weather a little bit. So we've got some bids, and the lowest one that we were able to get and put together pretty good structures was $60,000. But it's two big shelters to store the equipment out there that we're spending good tax dollars on right now. So I think that's a good deal also. So with that said, you're looking at a total of $310,000 that needs to be moved. Drug forfeiture, growth management, that's kind of self-explanatory. The new one that we're adding to this, and this is an amendment to this amendment to the capital and operation budget. This is for the fire truck that the fire department has convinced me is absolutely needed, okay? We've got an old truck that, as a matter of fact, I'd like Chief Blocker to come talk about the old truck versus the new truck, if you don't mind. He could, I might mess that up, but he convinced me during our meeting.
So currently, we have a 2016 rescue truck. When we purchased it, we already outgrew it, but at the time, we didn't have the addition to the firehouse, so we had to use the smallest chassis and condense it where it could fit behind the trucks, because it wouldn't fit in a apparatus bay. Since then, we've been trying to upgrade, get a bit better chassis, a four-door truck where we can move our medical equipment inside of the cab instead of being mixed with the fuels and everything else in the back of the truck. We got approved mid-year budget amendment in '22 to go look for a cab and chassis to just move the, since then, the state contract has not been available. I've talked to some of the dealerships. They said it might be mid-2024 before they even know if they're available then. So we exhausted pretty much all means to find a cab and chassis. The next option was to do a refurbish on the truck, which was estimated around $175,000. We had two guys at a conference in Lake Charles And they started talking to the vice president of Bonaventure. They had some trucks out there showing off, rescue trucks, engines and whatnot. And they said, we can't find a chassis. Well, conversation goes, they looked at our truck and said, we're looking for that truck for our mechanics, to have a mobile mechanic unit. We'll do maybe a buyback. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. What you gonna offer? Well, they offered 70,000. I don't think we'll ever see that again. I mean, and we getting a much bigger truck, better chassis, four-door, four-wheel drive. I mean, it's exactly what we were looking for. Actually, a little bit bigger than what we were looking for, a bigger chassis. The offer, I don't think we'll ever see that again. It shocked me. Matter of fact, when I got it, I ran straight to Aaron's office and said, we got to find a way to do this. And they only gave us a hold on the truck to June 12th. And that's why none of this was discussed, because I never thought this was gonna come up when it came out, and he said, maybe I can hold it for a month. They had 3, they're down to 1, and they're holding that one to June 12th. So it was just an option that was, we can't pass it up, you know?
Sounds good to me, man. Well, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. So with that said, that's pretty much everything in this ordinance that's up for adoption. But I know we do need to make motions, et cetera.
Yeah,
And
we're
you
gonna
may
open
wanna
it up.
have public input.
Yeah,
or
we're
whatever.
gonna get some public input. I guess before we go to the public, does anyone from Public Works wanna talk about anything? Or, police before we move forward to the public? Or administration, go for it.
Just to clarify, on the drug forfeiture fund, it says increase in anticipated revenue. Previously, we didn't have a lot of revenue coming in, but PD's been so busy lately that we are getting consistent checks back. And so we wanted to give enough revenue that we don't have to keep amending the budget. And we will continue to that will allow PD to then use those funds to continue investigations without us continuously having to come back to the council to add that to the budget.
Thank you. And if council has any, when we get to council comments, if we have anything for the, for any department heads, we can handle that. Let's just see, anything from the public. We'll open the public hearing at this point. Okay, we'll move right into, council comments. Anything, Councilman Boxford?
I did. I just have a couple clarifications. One on the fire truck. That's separate from the one that we were talking about earlier about leasing, right? Doing like a lease. Right. So there's no options on this one to do a lease as well, or is it just an outright you have to purchase? Okay. So that was that one. And then on the, we said a patrol officer, and maybe this is for the chief. Were we going to use? 'Cause we had
Not
talked
necessarily patrol officer.
Yeah, that's what I was
Traffic,
gonna ask.
it was traffic enforcement.
Okay, that was the
It's
clarification.
traffic
then.
enforcement.
Okay.
We,
that's-
in several months ago, Chief Farrell reassigned an administrative position to an officer dedicated to traffic enforcement. And it has been very effective. Residents report actually seeing an officer sitting out there, taking radar, watching stop signs. And this officer is not called away every time we're answering one of those 15 to 30 service calls a day that the department receives. And so this was so beneficial, it became kind of apparent that having a second one would also be a good idea.
Yeah, that
And
was
we
just
know
my-
that traffic and speeding are two of the biggest complaints that we get throughout the city.
Yeah, that was my clarification, because we had talked before about a traffic officer.
Traffic enforcement officer.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
So the 89,000 you were talking about, that's for the salary for the officer and a car?
That is for the salary through the end of this year. We calculated it starting July, so 6 months, and a vehicle. It's not just the vehicle, though, it's all the equipment that needs to be put into the vehicle.
Any other,
Just a
Councilman
quick-
Barat?
Quick, we didn't hear from Public Works. I just want to ask on the new street sweeper, what's our ETA on that? If we, I mean, we're naturally, we need it. And is that going to impact, and I'll do the same question for Chief Blocker, that we try to set aside certain money in budgets. With getting a fire rescue vehicle, that would positively impact that part as well, right? And the street sweeper, we were losing money and it wasn't working, et cetera. So, just a time frame, so when people say, hey, does the street sweeper work? And I and say, well, as a matter of fact, it don't, because we're getting another.
Hey, Jimmy,
All right, that's what I need to hear.
can you come up to the podium really quick, if you don't mind, so we can hear the question? I do have a question also.
General O'Berry.
And by the way, we decided you're doing such a good job that you're not Jim O'Berry this week, you're General O'Berry this week.
I accidentally gave him a new name today.
Okay.
General O'Berry.
But I just
Okay.
wanted, I just wanted to clarify that because, you know, we do get questions from time to time about equipment. Naturally, the, what I call equipment protection is vastly needed after our tour of seeing that. That goes without saying. But this is a huge investment that's needed. And I was just curious as far as, you know, it's gonna impact the budget later favorably, but what kind of ETA were you thinking about?
Well, once we're approved for the money, it has to go out to public bid, but the company that we're looking at has 2 of them available.
So it's not one of these situations where we'll get it in 2025 or 2024. All right, that's good. And I will say that it was kind of alarming to see that this was all in black and white until we got to fire and it was in red. But the fire rescue vehicle, we had that was part of what we had previously budgeted, right? That's right, okay. I think it's time sensitive, yeah. And the last comment, it's not really a question, but I see where fire is requesting, streets is requesting. We're doing a traffic study, so when we get that wasn't mentioned part of this, but we do get that question, especially in my district with the historical district of studying New Hampshire, Columbia, et cetera. That's part of this as well. And I'll just say that we've asked questions of Public Works and Fire. We got to give a hand out to the police. They're putting money in the budget. Guys, y'all got to have some kind of meeting where we can continue that. But anyway, thank you for answering my question.
Okay.
One more, Larry.
Sure.
For Jim, the new street sweeper you're getting, is it the same one? It's a different. So will this one help you during Mardi Gras season? Because I think you said the one you have doesn't pick up Mardi Gras beads correctly. So, is that something we need to start thinking of as a council to maybe help Public Works? You have to buy 2?
Yes. Just 5 years. We don't use them.
Okay.
All right, anyone else from the council? All right, so we're gonna go ahead, I need a motion to close the public hearing. Need a second, please?
Second.
Okay, now we do need a motion to amend.
Motion to amend.
Motion to amend.
I was waiting for Rick to do it. That's all.
Yeah.
That new microphone, he's got it.
I'm gonna love to see this
Hey.
played back.
I would
Okay,
like to make a
Councilman
motion, I
Smith.
would like to make a motion to amend, the ordinance that was introduced May 2nd, 2023, with the new dollar figures that we have now added to that.
That is correct, thank you, sir. I do,
Need a second.
I need a second on that?
Second.
Councilman Verret. We do need a roll call, please.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis,
Yes.
Councilman Botsford,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts, Councilwoman Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilman Verret.
Yes.
Councilman Verret sometimes, that's all I could say. Anyway, that being said, I need a motion to adopt as amended, please.
Motion to adopt as amended.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis, Councilman Botsford,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilman Barrett,
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move to our appearer at this point. Mr. Bishop E. Renee Soul is here tonight. Would you like to come up to the podium? Sule, my apology. I did ask Peter before, I wasn't sure, but we agreed that it was that. My apologies. Yes,
Well,
sir.
thank you. It's a pleasure to be here this evening, Mayor, your staff, to all of the council, Madam Clerk. Councilman Lewis, a good friend, asked me to come and talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I prayed about this a lot because it's in our face everywhere, every day. And I really want us to understand that diversity, equity, and inclusion is not a bad thing. When you really boil down to what is the root of diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's people. It's people who want a better life for themselves, people who want a better life for their children, and people who want better for their community. Now, I understand politics, okay? I understand we're in this era of, hyper culture, but I'm just asking this council, this administration, to be servant leaders. Servant leaders that you are. Servant leaders serve the people, all people. And I'm a servant leader. But I am also diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when I say that, I just want to share a little bit about the experiences that I've had here in St. Tammany. I'm not from here, from DC, been here 15 years now. But I lived in St. Tammany 8 years. And I was afforded the opportunity to be on the St. Tammany Parish Charter Review Committee. And my colleagues voted me to be vice president. Somebody gave me that opportunity. They didn't look like me. They didn't know me, but they gave me that opportunity. The late Pat Brister, she tapped me to be the citizen representative on the New Orleans Regional Planning Commission. Obviously, I don't look like Pat, but she gave me an opportunity. And I can go down the list of opportunities that have been afforded me by individuals who don't look like me, but they had an open mind. They were leaders. Dr. Wainwright, worked with him extensively on North Shore Community and Technical College. Chris Massingale, worked with him when he was at Delta Regional Authority. Now he's at St. Tammany Corps. My good friend Reed Falconer, who sat beside me at the New Orleans Regional Planning Commission. A good gentleman that you know here who's doing work in the West 30, Brian Burns. I showed Brian how to create that program and where to find the money. I didn't ask Brian for a dime because I was afforded opportunity. I paid it forward and assisted him and gave him opportunity. So not only did I benefit, but Brian Burns benefited from diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because the individuals who I had the opportunity to interact with had an open mind. And they pushed past all the noise. There's a lot of noise on this. But I'm going to say this again. When you really look at the heart of the matter of diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's about people. People. People who want better. That's it. And I don't know how I can say it any differently. I'm grateful for those people who gave me the opportunity that I didn't look like, that didn't know me. They gave me opportunity. And there are people out here who want that same opportunity. Now, whatever umbrella you put it under, it really don't matter. but they want better. You want better, Mayor, for this city. The council wants better for this city. The community wants better for this city. But we have to have open minds, because you don't know where the next person is going to come from that might be able to help you achieve and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And so I'm going to sit down, and I really, really hope that you hear my heart, because I have been tremendously blessed by folks in St. Tammany Parish who gave me opportunity. And I took that opportunity to help other people. People who don't look like me. Brian Burns. Never asked him for a dime. But he's in the West 30s working and doing great work. But you don't know that it started right here. It started with me. What would have happened if I wasn't given the opportunity to gain those knowledge, skills, and abilities? What would have happened? So I'm going to just close with this. Years ago, 2015, the Office of Racial Harmony out of New Orleans, Catholic Charities, they created a program that got my attention. It was called Racial Sobriety. And I met a little white 4'2" Irish nun named Sister Teresa. And we became the best friends. And she showed me what this program was all about. And it dovetailed into diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I have some handouts here I'd like to leave with you. But the heart of racial sobriety is this. It's a commitment to seeing each person as a member of the same human family. We're talking about people. And so I leave that with you. I'm going to leave these handouts. Take a look at it. You can Google it. I just can't emphasize enough that we don't have to run around and be scared that the sky is falling because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We don't have to do that. We can be servant leaders, having an open mind and looking at these things on a case-by-case basis and seeing where opportunity can help somebody have a better life. That's it. That's all I have. But I thank you for the time to share this. I'm going to leave this here. And I would love to continue this conversation at some other point in time. I would love to hear from each and every one of you of what your thoughts are and what you think about this. Because I don't like conversations. I like dialogue. I like feedback. You don't have to agree with everything I say. You don't have to see everything that I'm sharing. But help me see your viewpoint. Because I'm open. I'm open to hearing what you have to say. Because I am a servant leader. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move right into new business, items to be voted on. Resolution item number 2023-10, a resolution of the City of Covington Council extending the time portable classrooms may remain on 18 acres of the Privet track. Councilman Smith.
Thank you. If y'all recall, I know Peter and I went and visited the school when we did the ribbon cutting. And I remember you and I both saying how much needed a school like this is in this community. In a nutshell, for you, those of y'all that aren't familiar with this academy, It's for dyslexic children, dyslexic students. And it's amazing how many families had the hardship of having to travel each and every school day to Baton Rouge, okay? So we were presented, the council was presented by a developer, basically said, we got this tract of land out here, and here's what we'd like to do with it. And initially, I'm like, oh, no, more apartments or something, right? Right. It's gonna be a headache kind of thing, traffic, blah, blah, blah. And we were presented with what I felt to be one of the best fits for that piece of property out there. And it was an academy to support and help these children with dyslexia. We allowed them to put mobile trailers, school buildings out there, and our initial resolution said until September of '23. The builders are coming back and asking if we can extend that for several reasons. One of which, the need for that school has basically exceeded anybody's expectation, okay? And so with that, the changes to their plans and the buildings, et cetera, have changed. And it's gonna be a little bit more time consuming to build and get it in order before the mobile trailers are removed. So with that being said, I think it's a fairly simple solution. We extend the right for them to have these school trailers while they relocate because they're gonna have to move the trailers, but keep it on the same tract of property to get the building. They've already started construction, okay? Yeah. It's just a matter of they weren't able to do what's gonna be an adequate build in time to remove these trailers and for September 2023, like the initial resolution we agreed to. So they're asking for an extension. I think it's a perfectly legitimate request, and I would hope that you guys would feel the same on that. So that's what that resolution would be about.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. We're gonna, before we go into council comments, we'll go right into any public comments. Open it up to the public at this point. Council comments? Councilman Oxford?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo what Councilman Smith said, that this is highly needed for our community, and what a gem, and how lucky we are to have it, right?
Exactly.
I know with the supply chains and just the delays, you know, you can't ever expect any construction project to come in on time now. And for them to move these buildings around, hey, you know, it's serving our kids. So to me, it's a perfect solution. And, you know, if it's gonna take a year, or, you know, it might even take longer, but you know what? We're here to support that. I think that the general council here is unanimously gonna support this because it's such a wonderful thing for our children of St. Tammany Parish.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate those comments.
Yeah, I'll
Councilman
just make one
Roberts?
comment. I'd echo what Rick just said. It was perfect for the city. If you knew all the opportunities that were going to be in that area, this was the perfect fit for what we needed as a city. I've learned that construction timelines mean nothing, so to extend this is a no-brainer to me. And if you actually ride past there, I know it's temporary trailers, but it doesn't look temporary.
Nice.
The upkeep is really nice. So it's not like it's an eyesore for the city. I think, again, this is a no-brainer for us to approve.
I'm just,
Okay,
I'm
Councilman
just
Ludwig.
curious. I was asking Mark, is it functioning as a school as of now, or it's
Yeah.
okay?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Any other comments?
Sorry, getting some notes here. Any other comments? Okay, that being said, I need a motion to accept.
Motion to accept.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Lewis? Councilman Botsford?
Yes.
Councilman Roberts?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig?
Yes.
Councilman Verret?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rowling?
Yes, thank you. Okay, moving on. Resolution item number 2023-11, a resolution of the Covington City Council selecting the official journal for the city of Covington for a term of 1 year. We go through this every year, so it's that time again. And of course, the St. Tammany Farmer that's been around quite a few years. We were just looking at that. I think, I don't know, it was founded in, I think it was in 1810, it said on the thing. 1837. So that being said, I might be off by a few years, but it's been here a long, long time. So that being said, that is the official journal for this area. So again, we just have to approve this for the term of 1 year. So that being said, is there any public comments on this issue before we vote? Anything from the council?
Yes.
Yes.
I enjoy reading these history deals, like 50 years ago today, that kind of thing, 70 years ago today. I noticed, Rodriguez, something happened to you 60 years ago today, but I know you were only about 10.
Yeah,
That's right.
But no, I agree. Larry, we don't, honestly, we don't have any choice. I mean, that's the newspaper.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith. Okay. That being said, any other council comments? Okay. Hearing none, I'll accept the motion for this resolution.
Motion to accept it?
I'll do a second on that one. And roll call, please.
Councilman Botsford,
Yes.
Councilman Roberts,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ludwig,
Yes.
Councilman Verret,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Rowling,
Yes.
Councilman Lewis.
Yes.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we want to recognize our Councilwoman Cody Ludwig. And I want to start, and we'll all have a chance to have some comments for Cody, and then we'll end it with Cody,
Oh,
of course, today. But I want to personally thank you for all your hard work for the city of Covington. I know it started with when you went to school at SSA. I know you were involved in the community then, and then also working with the Cultural Arts and Events Department. I know you were there for several years, working with the city on events, improving those events, and I know that department has built over the years. I know you were a big part of that, so we appreciate that very much. Also like to thank you for your hard work with the Covington Celtic Club. Obviously, that event has paid off. It's a major event for our city, so we appreciate your hard work and your board for having that event in our city, so we thank you for that. Also, your dedication to District D, and I know you served on several committees on this council, and you served them very well, and we appreciate that, and obviously that showed your commitment to the city. Again, I want to thank you for your hard work. I know now you're going to enjoy your kids a little bit more, your beautiful girls and Nick, and maybe have a little bit less stress. Because if anybody out there wants to know, it isn't all roses all the time being on the council or in administration, but we love this city, and I know Cody has loved it, worked extremely hard. So we thank you so much. So that being said, we're going to go to council comments, and we'll start with Councilman Lewis. Do you have any comments for Cody?
Yeah, Cody, it's definitely been a roller coaster, but fun with you. You actually represent the diversity up here, and having your input has always been delightful. We're definitely gonna miss you on here, and having you at the LMAs, of course, was always fun too. So yeah, go enjoy those kids and family, and I'm sure we'll see you around the city, and you'll still continue to work with us.
Councilman Boxford?
I'd like to say that, Cody, I think it's, you take being a public servant very serious. And for all that you do for the community and all that you have done for the community and all that you will do for the community, because I'm sure you will
Not going
continue
anywhere.
this. You will continue this. I'm excited to see what your future holds, especially with politics and, serving the city. I think you will be welcome at any given time. Just from the people that I've dealt with my Porch Fest in your district and everything, I've heard nothing but good things about you. And from Oktoberfest to everything, it's just been a real pleasure serving with you, and I look forward to seeing your bright future.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yeah,
Councilman Roberts?
I know I get wordy, and Cody's always said, "Why do I have to speak after Joey?" So I get that. Yeah. But and I won't be too wordy on this. One, I do appreciate everything you do. I know what it takes to step up here. One of the things I think about when you got into this was I did this because my kids were grown, so I knew that I was going to have some time, and to know that you have two young ones and a family, and you still do what you do, it's amazing what you accomplish. So kudos to you for doing it. And thank you to the family for giving up that time to us and to the city for everything that you give. So I appreciate everything you've done. I love your work with the Boys and Girls Club, so please keep doing that. And I know we'll see you around. It's not like you're going anywhere. So thank you for what you do, Cody, for sure.
Council at Large Smith, comments? No.
Well, Cody, it's been real. That's all I can tell you. One thing I can say is, you know, we've agreed on a lot of things. We didn't always agree on everything, but we agreed on a lot of things. But one thing about Cody, when she believed in something being the best for the city, she'd fight you, you know, and she'd stick up for her guns, and she'd do the things that she thought needed to be done, and I respect that. Oh, we're gonna miss you.
Y'all are gonna make
But-
it's like a eulogy.
but- You've got so much going on for you. This ain't that Cody Ludwig by any stretch, okay? You've got a lot going on for you. You got a beautiful family. I'm talking about you too. But
Got a
those little girls are gonna get a little bit more of their mama, which is a good thing. So best of luck, prayers, love you.
Very nice. Councilman Verrett?
It is not coincidental that Rick said what he said, because my comments go to the passion that Cody has for this city. And I've said this over and over again. It has been and continues to be a pleasure to work with each of you because of that passion. One thing the public does not see, the public may or may not tune in. The public may or may not come to a meeting, talk to somebody about a meeting, but they have no idea how many hours go into committee meetings and resolutions and ordinances and speaking to department heads and the administration. And I can always say that anytime we had an issue, Cody was involved, she was passionate. You know, now we're really gonna miss you because now we only have Rick's passion to deal with. I mean, we're all passionate, but sometimes, and just what Rick was saying, it has been a pleasure to discuss the issues, and you've always been able to do that. And I am positive that you are not going away, and that's a good thing. So thank you, Cody.
Very well said. We're gonna now have our council clerk, Joanne Rucker, say a few words.
This is
That's what Joanne made me cry, because Joanne's been crying for weeks.
I know. I'm gonna miss you. You're my only girl up here. And it's been a pleasure working with you. You're always there. I can call you and you are there. And it's been wonderful. And I know you're gonna be around because you're a hard worker and you're always there. So I'm gonna miss you. And good luck with the babies. And you know, because they're growing up and this is a real special time. So I love you.
Thank you. And Mayor Mark?
On behalf of myself and the city employees, I'd like to thank you for your service, not just for the past 4 years, but for all you've done for the city for the many, many years that you've been involved. Very active member of the community, grew up in Covington, raising your family here. You know as well as anyone what it means to be Covington. And you brought that to the council, and I'll always appreciate that. You bring a spirit and an experience to our cultural events and to our nonprofit service that I am so happy to know it's not going to be missed, because you have communicated to me that this is not the end, but this is the beginning of you actually having more time to step out and contribute to our community in a very productive and wonderful way. So I thank you for all you've done for Covington, and I thank you for all you're going to do for Covington.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so we have a little presentation for you, and we're gonna take a couple of pictures, if that's okay.
Great. Should have done that first.
So I will read this, if you can hear me out there. It said, presented to Cody Ludwig, Councilwoman District D, 2019 to 2023, in appreciation of your dedication to the city of Covington. So, we would like to give this to you. And we're gonna go ahead, you wanna go ahead, why don't we do a group picture?
Sure.
This is pretty, thank you.
Green wall?
Yes.
There should be like a seal. Just don't put me in rec, because we're so, our height is so different.
Why don't you, come on in. So I think at this time, we will let Cody say a few words.
Oh, jeez, okay. That really was weird. It's like a retirement party or like a funeral that I'm present to. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay. I wrote it down so I didn't forget anybody. That was all very sweet. I love all of you. The only thing I can say about the last 4 years is that it's been a wonderful experience. It's somehow flown by and felt like we've been doing it for a decade. I don't know how that's possible, but we've done a lot of great things for Covington. I know y'all are going to continue doing great things because y'all all feel so strongly about our precious little town. And I was like trying to think of like little anecdotes for each of y'all, but y'all's were all so nice and long. So I have like a quick little funny thing. Okay, I will miss touching base with John on my Causeway rides, bouncing ideas off of Mark V. Over the course of our in-meeting jokes, cutting up with Peter and Rick at the LMA conference. Joey's always positive outlook. Larry's guidance. He was wonderful passing the torch to me in District D. Let's see, gosh. Okay. Lunches and drinks with Mark and Aaron after hours. Rod's hilarious directness, Nina's professionalism, field trips to sites with Jim and Public Works, and overall run-ins with phone calls with constituents. And I'm so grateful for Chief Farrell and Chief Blocker, and I see that Steve's here as well. All of the fire for their extreme responsiveness. Anytime I need anything, maybe to a fault, they are right there no matter what time I text them late at night regarding any instances. They are always responsive, so I do appreciate that. Joanne, my only girl, my fellow girl. I will miss your sunny demeanor, our office shots, and your mama advice. I keep drinking water. Okay. Most of all, I'll treasure all of y'all's friendships. And honestly, Mark and the administration, y'all have done a wonderful job of the way that y'all run the city and making it like a familial place. I think your leadership. I don't know what. I really didn't want to cry. For goodness sakes. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Bizarre. This is weird to all be a part of this, but just as I left the Cultural Arts and Events Department, and people still continue to ask me to help them with city favors, I'm sure, or city matters, I should say, I'm sure that will still be the case. That y'all know, you'll still be hearing from me. I'll still be bugging y'all, I'm sure. And also, the good thing that one of those like serendipitous God things is the week of the election. I was asked from SSA, I'll be accepting a position with them as their, so I'll be, and it was like a very serendipitous thing. So their alumni relations and community relations.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Very good. You're gonna be perfect.
Very
You're gonna be perfect for that.
Yes. So it was like totally perfect. 'Cause, yeah, alumni and community relations. So it was perfect. So anyway, I'm excited for that. And yeah, thank y'all to administration, council, everybody. This is great. I love y'all.
Well, we love you, Cody. You know that.
I know. I feel like of course, the only girl crying, but Rick would be crying too.
He did cry a little bit. Thank you, Cody. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go right into council comments and reports. We'll start today with District A. Councilman Lewis.
All right, District A is up again. First, I want to say thank you to Public Works. You guys are always doing a good job. You know, every time I'm riding through any district, really, especially District A, I see somebody's out there cutting grass, and it is very hot. So
Yeah.
I don't know how you keep those guys motivated, but whatever you're doing, I just want to say I thank you. I appreciate you and them. You know, same thing with police and fire. You know, you guys are always there, watching our streets, keeping everybody safe. And I just want to let you know that I do appreciate it, and it's seen. Next we have in District A, of course, and also, yeah, shout out to the community for coming out. I'm really glad to see you guys out, trying to get informed, stay informed. We don't usually have this much stuff going on at a meeting, but hey, keep coming out.
Yeah.
June 24th, from 9 to 3, we have a summer camp, math and reading by Clear Path Mentoring. For more information, call 225-975-7738. It's on the 24th from 9 to 3, and they'll be focusing on math and reading. Community Church will be serving breakfast from 9 to 10 and lunch from 11 to 12. And it looks like they're doing it, I'm not sure if it's just this week or the whole summer. I wasn't for sure with the flyer. Coming July 15th, we will have, there's a 3-on-3 basketball tournament at Peter Atkins. It's a violence awareness project. That's also sponsored by Clear Path Mentorship. You can contact them at the same number. I want to give a shout out to Dodge City Apparel, who has recently joined District A. There's a new business in District A. We love new businesses, of course. And as I said, District A is coming back. We're doing good. Communities involved, the people stepping up. So thank you. Another shout out to Godly Theatrics, who had another praise camp at the Butterfly Hall for the youth. And she teach them about, you know, the Bible, God, and also teach them how to do praise dancing. And it was very successful. I was able to stop by and check out the kids dancing and, you know, drop off a few things for them. So that's Miss Kamika Simmons, and it's called Godly Theatrics. We also had another successful event by men and women of power called the Kitty Ball. They had to abruptly move from one location to another one, but they were still successfully able to pull it off at the VFW, and it was very good. Sometimes you guys have got to go and check it out. This was a great event for these young kids that they dressed them up, and they wore tennis shoes with their dresses, and they just enjoyed themselves, dancing around in their little ball outfits. But and if you guys haven't noticed, I love seeing kids happy. So let me move on. I might cry like Rick. All right, my next thing I have is we have one more workshop for Juneteenth that's coming up. It's from it's on June 7th at 4:30. It will be at the VFW. It's a workshop for anybody that need help with writing an essay or just signing up for either the fashion show or the parade. We had one Monday. We had a few people show up and sign up, and we helped them with writing an essay. June 16th, of course, is the fashion show, the Junior Juneteenth Fashion Show, ages 10 to 19. We will also, again, be giving away scholarship this year, so that has to be used for educational purposes, whether it's to pay tuition, buy school uniforms, whatever the need is in that area. It starts at 7 p.m. at the Furman Auditorium. 3 categories. First one is Classy with Kicks, I Am, which is their future job, and the last one is Juneteenth Inspired. Last year was great. If you guys missed it, shame on you. You need to come out and check these kids out. June 19th, at 9 o'clock will be the Freedom Parade, which is what we would start off the celebration with from Peter Atkins Park. We would line up at 9 o'clock. We will roll at 10 from Peter Atkins Park to the Furman Auditorium. And then at 11 o'clock, we would start our ceremony, which will kick off with special guest T. Ray, which is a violinist. And then we R&B artist Cash May. And then a special guest speaker, Mr. Lord Benson. And then after that, we will have free food, vendors, resource vendors, face painting for the kids, and more in the Butterfly Hall. and outside in the parking lot. And like I said, you guys, it's for the community. This is just not one section of the community. This is for everybody. It's for the city of Covington. So we invite everybody to come out and enjoy it. Bring your family, friends. If you can't make it, at least share it, you know, and come out and enjoy yourself. I want to thank some of my sponsors before I go, the NAACP, One Covington, the Crew Majestic, Healthy Blue, St. Tammany, Centerwell, Aetna, of course, my community, and, you know, anybody in the council, the minister, especially the administration. I give them a lot of work sometimes. So Aaron's smiling at me. But, and I think that's it.
If I can ask, I don't mean to cut it. What's your scholarship up to right now for the papers? How much money have you raised?
We're at 5,000.
Yeah.
And I have a pledge for another 5. I'm just waiting for it to clear.
I just wanted to say it out loud. That's awesome, man. Very good.
Thank you. All right, moving on to District B, Councilman Boxford.
All right, the updates for the food bank. The average daily households for 55 households and 67 boxes. Total to date is 830 with 1,012 boxes distributed. Their food program updates are they've started their annual summer program, distributing extra items for registered kids in the program. They've also begun distributing of summer fun boxes, which include foods for families to enjoy over the summer and or the 4th of July. They've expanded into a second hospital, Slidell Memorial, for their therapeutic food program, which is great. You know, people going through all kinds of things, and to have a healthy, nutritious meal is just amazing that they do this. They've also added a third school to their kids' weekend program for the fall. So that's the kids that a lot of times don't get a meal at the home because the parents can't afford it or whatever. So they're actually getting the kids to sign up, and they will send food home on the weekends, because a lot of times their only meals are on school days. So this is fantastic. So then they'll have Alton Elementary School in Slidell, Chattaima Elementary in Lacombe, and Brock Elementary in Slidell. The North Shore Food Bank history, they're looking for stories and photos and articles, former volunteers, et cetera, to help us build a timeline and celebrate our upcoming 40th anniversary. Another one of those anniversaries. So if anybody has a story to share, they can contact me. That's Ginger Kunkel at NorthShoreFoodBank.com. Most needed items, kid-friendly items, of course. Canned fruit, cereal, peanut butter, ravioli, and oatmeal. I'd also like to remind everybody to shop local, especially at our farmers markets on Wednesdays at the Trailhead, and Saturdays over here by the police station. I want to give a big shout out to Public Works as well. I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but the Ozone Ball Field had its very first tournament, and Mayor Mark was there. It was a huge success, and it's just great to see the community actually have their men's adult softball, which was actually a range of ages of people playing. Yeah. What and And if y'all get a chance, go by and take a look at the field. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Especially, you know, it looked like a goat farm before, you know, a bunch of weeds and stuff. Now it looks really, really good. And like I said, shout out to Public Works for taking care of that. And that's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to District C, Councilman Roberts.
Yeah, let me start. And I know you said, go ahead.
And one last thing, I'm sorry, I forgot about. Just want to wish everybody happy Father's Day.
Yep. Very good. All right, so anytime I have Public Works, Fire, and Police in the house, thank you guys for everything you do. I know sometimes it's blind, people don't see it, but I do. So thank you guys for everything. These are not in order, so let me see. So the dog park, I see that there's limestone's been laid for the dog park, and
No timeline.
well, don't worry, I know that already. I'm the strange guy. I will admit to this. I'll say it out loud. I'll see people walking their dogs, and I'll stop and I'll just yell at them. If there was a dog park in the corner, would you go to it? And they've all said yes. They all are looking forward to it. So it's been well received as far as that goes. So thanks for keeping that in the future. Lurleen Drive has some progress happening. I know the saying is slow and steady wins the race. I don't know if I believe that anymore, but it is still slow and steady, and there's still progress. It's just a way of running everything under the sun, it seems like, with that street, but it's getting done. I want to mention 4 and the 4th is coming up. That is a race that they have on 15th Street. If you're a runner, you want to get out there, or even if you're not, you just want to do it that morning to support Diane and Bud Weiss. They do a great job of giving back to the community. So any funds that comes in, they redistribute it right back into the community. Show up for 4 and the 4th. And then I don't want to get into the weeds on this, but I will ask the mayor. There is a parish development right by Claiborne Hill, an apartment complex that's coming. There has some controversy behind it. I don't want to talk about that part, but is there anything as a city, as Covington, that we need to be aware of, I guess, of that development coming over by Claiborne Hill? And then other than that, I just want to reiterate again, Cody, thank you so much. Really, I appreciate everything you've done, and thank you for the 4 years, for sure.
All right, we're going to go right to District D. Councilwoman Ludwig.
Okay, so the St. Tammany Parish Library, it's the summer. I actually was hoping she could come and speak about their summer program, but she just had surgery. So it's their reading challenge program, always super important. They also offer free story time for the littles throughout the summer, so just go to their website to learn more on that. St. Tammany Parish Hospital, next time will be Mark because of the redistricting, but Kelly Radley has been keeping us both informed the last few months. They are going to be doing a Man Up event at the Covington Beer Garden from 5 to 8 p.m. on June 16th. It's men's health education and a lot of screening opportunities, so just keep that in mind. Also, she wanted to let me know that June 1st, Senator McMath signed a bill, as he's always an advocate for Covington, but also for the whole state, and this will allow hospital districts to offer nursing and allied health scholarships. So with the shortage in hospitals, that'll be wonderful. And since I have your attention, we'll be doing, someone mentioned Boys and Girls Club, so we'll be doing our Oktoberfest weekend that benefits the Boys and Girls Club October 13th and 14th. The 13th will be, it'll all be at the Trailhead, the Beer and Bites, which is like a little restaurant crawl throughout Covington, all of our wonderful restaurants. And then the 14th will be the usual beer fest. Yeah, as Joey said, there's lots of construction. I dropped the kids off in River Forest to my parents this morning, got stuck in it there. Came back up janky to try to get, and anyway, hit it there too. So it's all good things. I'm glad they're taking advantage of the less amount of traffic. But yeah, like I said, I'll still see y'all all around. And with my role now with SSA, with the community, I'll actually be reaching out to y'all in just a different capacity. So I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, District E, Councilman Barai.
I have to say that that's one of the reasons I was a little playful today, is that it's been nice having Cody by my side during our meetings. But one thing that she did say during her comments was how accessible and available the department heads are to the council. And so with you here, I would just like to compliment you on that and compliment the administration that we really do communicate in Covington. And that is a big deal. You don't have to go far. I think it's Coop Drive, if somebody reminded me, to see that that's not exactly how it works everywhere. So with that being said, thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. Also wanted to do a shout out to, if anyone has not had the ability to get tar or oil on their car, I encourage you to come to Janky, because you will no longer spill your coffee. It is a phenomenally quick. I have to do a shout out not only to the administration and this council for budgeting it and seeing it through, but they apparently did a pretty good job. And shout out to them. I know they've got a little more work to do. And Botsford mentioned Father's Day, June 18th. And I'd also like to mention June 22nd is the James Samaritan State of the Children Third Breakfast. I can't think, as we talked about the Prevette tract and what we have going on in our community, that is one of the best nonprofits around, and I encourage you to go participate. That's June 22nd, and I'm very proud that this council participates in that breakfast. And Cody, see I still like you by my side.
Malcolm said here.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We're going to go right into Council at Large Smith.
Thank you. Well, the hospital reports are gonna be exactly the same except different. That's an inside joke for those sitting out there that don't know what that is. What do you mean by that? I agree. The city looks really good, and golly, man, hats off to Callie. I know she kind of kept watch over that overlay on Janky. She did a great job. It looks good. Mark's happy. But the city overall just looks, in my opinion, you know, it's not perfect, but it's close to perfect as it's been in a long time, in my opinion. So I think it looks really good. A couple of things that I'd like to acknowledge, and maybe the mayor will elaborate on that, but Rec District 10, you know, they're moving forward, and that's a parish recreation district, but the city is responsible to appoint a member to their board of directors, and the mayor, myself, and one other gentleman whose name kind of evades me, we kind of settled on a guy by the name of Elliot Gorley, and he accepted, you know, and be approved. This statement is basically, if Mr. Gorley's out there listening to this, we appreciate you, we thank you. It's not an easy job, it's time consuming, okay? And they have, yes, and he's already been asked to serve by the parish, right? Out of our city that potentially will be on that board, so that's gonna be a good thing. And I mentioned how the city looks. We do have a Keep Covington Beautiful event coming up. Volunteers are needed. This is basically a drive around the city to spot areas that have litter, you know, because I don't know how many years in a row it's been, but we've always gotten one of the top awards for being one of the cleanest cities in the state, okay? And Saturday, June 24th, Keep Covington Beautiful is looking for volunteers. They're gonna meet at 9:30 and take a 2-hour tour of the city and kind of evaluate where they're gonna put their teams to help pick up litter and clean it up a little bit. They're meeting Saturday, June 24th, right here behind me in this room, this council chambers conference room. It's a drive around windshield survey is what they call it. But I did it a couple of years and it's fun, you know, and it's really fun when you win. In the city, you say, you know, hey, Covington gets first place kind of thing. But they do need volunteers for that. And I'm going on record right now, I won't be here June 24th to do it. But if one of you guys or ladies in the audience or anybody, volunteers are needed. With that said, I'm done. Thank you.
You're done. Okay. The only thing, I have two things tonight. The CBA, the Covington Business Association meeting, they will have one tomorrow night at 5:30 at the North Shore Food Bank. So I know the businesses are really active in that organization. So if you have a chance to get down there, that'll be great.
Along with the fashion show too.
Along with a fashion show. That will be exciting, I'm sure. Are you going to be in there? Yeah. Okay, there you go. We can't wait. 5:30 it starts. Yeah, I don't know what time it's going to be over.
I was planning on going.
But the only other announcement, we do have a city, Covington City inaugural that's going to take place with the new council and the mayor on June 30th. It's a Friday at 2 p.m. at the Furman Auditorium. It is open to the public, and I know it will be advertised in the newspaper. Okay, that being said, Mayor Mark, you are.
Thank you, Councilman Rowling. This new camera system.
I know, it's very
like
distracting.
I had no idea I was this bald on the back of my head.
I know we see.
Oh, Nita, you laughed a little too hard at that. I mean, look at that.
That's what wearing baseball caps.
I would have to wear caps to the meeting. Huh? Oh, you're with me on this. Huh? we probably should mention that Sparks at the Park will take place before the next council meeting. July 1st, that afternoon, and that has just grown into a really wonderful and magnificent event with our own Covington concert band, which I think is up to 75 pieces now, and a lot of activities for the children, beautiful setting, great fireworks show, so come out and enjoy that on that afternoon, and it's all free. I'd like to echo what Councilman Smith mentioned about City Engineer Callie Baker. Just really on the ball, and you know, we sometimes we talk Human Resources Department is really unique. There is no department. There's a person, and in city engineering, she's got a couple of people helping her now, and thank goodness that you guys have put those people in, helped us put those people in place, because she would not be able to handle Lurleen Drive, Ozone Field, the dog park fencing, and Janky Avenue was one of those overnight successes that took a year and a half. You know, because we go back to when we budgeted the money, did the scope of work, put it out for bid, got it overbid, put it back, and Callie's the one who at that meeting looked around the room and said, we need to put this back out again, because there are some people that are going to come back when they have less work, and we're seeing that now. So hats off to Callie. And then Councilman Roberts asked that I maybe make a few remarks about the proposed apartment complex located at the foot of Military Road. And I have been tracking that situation closely. We all recognize that such a complex is going to negatively affect traffic on Claiborne Hill. I was aware of the proposals at last Thursday's Parish Council meeting, and from that meeting, I confirmed two suppositions. And this is probably not what most people, when they think of the apartment complex and the traffic and the drainage concerns, this is not where you go to. But this is what we need to understand. The zoning classification of the property, the parish zoning classification of the property, contains the word apartments. It says apartments. Any attempt to block the apartments by the parish will end up in litigation. Go back to the meeting that the parish held last Thursday night and watch it, and listen carefully to the council folks repeatedly state that the actions they are taking are not directed at the complex. On the second motion, take note of how much time was spent discussing litigation, to the point they went into executive session due to the perceived threat of litigation. The parish council and the parish administration both totally understand that the guiding principles on this matter are the 5th and 14th Amendments of the Constitution, and in likelihood, the ultimate arbiter of this project will be a judge at the JDC 22nd. Regardless of what position the parish takes, they're probably going to wind up in court. In general, the court system frowns upon governmental entities that step on the rights of property owners. If on the losing side, the fines to the parish taxpayer will be hefty, and the developer will still get their project. Do not interpret my comments as I favor the project, but understand that if the parish mishandles this matter, it is we, the taxpayers, who will pay the price. The second supposition confirmed is that I have known for some time, most of us have known for some time, that there is friction between the parish council and the parish administration. I, my administration, and the members of this council enjoy a good relationship with both the parish council and the parish administration. Where the city's interest and those of the parish overlap, we work well together, just the way our residents hope we would do. Interceding on a motion to investigate the parish president or a motion to expand a parish moratorium on construction, neither of which directly affected the apartment project, offers no benefit to our citizens, but could needlessly damage the good relationships that we enjoy. I will continue to monitor the situation carefully, to listen, to gather information, and if it's to our residents' benefits, then I'll intercede accordingly. But sometimes the best thing to do is just to listen.
Thank you, Mayor, for those comments. Okay, any comments for the mayor? Okay. That being said, just a couple of reminders. Oh, Aaron, my apologies. My apologies. I was so like, what the mayor was talking about, I was just like, involved in that.
So
There you go.
June,
Sorry about that.
oh, go ahead.
Okay.
June 1st was the start of hurricane season. So every year before hurricane season, we update our staff roster and our hurricane plan, and then we meet with the directors, the department heads, and the directors to kind of go through what we have done thus far to prepare for hurricane season, and then what still needs to be done. So I just wanted to let you guys know we are on track. That has been done. We are on schedule. We've updated our plan. Just to point out some of the things that we do to prepare for hurricane season. We review and touch base with our debris contractors. We test all of our generators. We make sure that we have supplies for sheltering should we need to do some employee sheltering. We make sure that our drainage system is clean and there are no major obstructions. We test our radios. We make sure all of our IT equipment works, all of those sorts of things. So this is just our annual update to say we've started, we're ready, and everything's good to go. So thank you.
Appreciate that update. I think do we have a question for the mayor?
I guess it's just kind
Councilman
of a
Lewis?
general statement and follow-up, that I have, and I want to say and kind of explain why I invited Bishop Sule here. It's kind of what I've experienced and seen with the city of Covington and see how we can improve both the relationship and the city of Covington with the constituents and also with this council and administration. 4 years ago when we took this position, I felt like we were working towards uniting this community and working toward a common goal. And this council knows, just as well as I know, that over the last year or so, that it has not been that. The communication has not been there, and there's only one person that's been left out most of the time. I've tried every effort to try and solve that with the administration, to no relief. I've pointed out several examples, and I can probably go on and bring this and drag this meeting on, but I don't think this is the necessary time for it right now. But I did want to put it on record that I'm no longer going to sit quiet about what's going on. This has to be solved. We are elected officials. We are adults. And as he said, as the speaker said, we are servant leaders, and there have to be dialogue. Another point I want to make out, this council had me to do a survey, had me to host public meetings, and had me to collect that information to discuss what we will call District A. Councilmember Rick came up with a great name as Uptown Covington. Winn-Dixie used North Covington. This council agreed that we would call it its legal name, District A. Still today, from concert to email blast to newsletter to public speeches, we are constantly using West 30s over and over again. So it makes me wonder, does this council have power? Are we going to use it? Or are we just going to listen to what people tell us? Because I've done my part quietly. I've listened to my counsel. Now, are we going to act, or are we going to sit down and have dialogue, or are you going to continue to ignore me? What?
No,
So you don't want to have dialogue with me?
exactly.
Then, okay, then we're going to have an issue then. Because
Yes.
I represent a district. You speak to every other council member up here. You work with every other council member. You cannot speak to me, and then that is an issue.
Yes, I can. I get to choose. I get to choose who I speak to and who I don't speak to.
You have.
You don't get, no, I don't. You don't get to choose for me
Look,
who I speak
I'm
to.
speaking right now. Let me finish what I'm saying, okay? I didn't
You
come
asked
here
me a question.
I didn't come here to argue with you. I'm not playing tit for tat with you. I'm working. So I'm telling you, we have to speak to work. I have to.
You don't have the right to tell me what to do.
And you don't have the right to refuse me from stopping me from doing my
I
job.
absolutely do.
Okay.
I get to choose.
Council, you need to come up with a solution to solve this, okay? Because the next time that you guys get an email and he excludes me from a meeting that's within my district, then that is an issue. The next time that he calls a
No,
CEO
absolutely
no,
not.
sir, I'm talking to my counsel.
Hold on.
The next time that he calls a CEO and tells the CEO that we don't get along, I should not be at the table, that is an issue. The mayor should not be doing that. He is a leader of our community.
I understand. Let me go back to one thing really quick. I know you talked about the District A and in West 30s. I know personally, I say the West 30s sometimes, and it's not because I'm kind of choosing to say it that I'm not saying District A. I think the West 30s name has been around a long time. I don't know the exact date, but that
It
being
was
said, I don't think anybody on this council-
Councilwoman Francis Dunn and that group when we did the West 30s revitalization plan. And remember, I brought it here and I held it up 10 years ago or whatever it was, when the community came together and said, we want to improve the quality of life of our historic black community. And part of that was rebranding the community from the awful names that had historically been referred to. And Councilwoman Francis Dunn and Hattie Brown and Bo Elsie and the community all came together. There's pictures of them in the book working together and rebranded it. So it was a councilwoman and her colleagues that rebranded it the West 30s. The West 30s is a well-defined, historically black neighborhood. District A is a political boundary. They are not the same thing. They are not the same thing, and they've never been the same thing. Actually, when you do reapportionment, the boundaries of District A can change, and they just did. So they're not the same thing. So when I say the West 30s, I'm talking about the neighborhood that Councilman Francis Dunn and those folks rebranded some 10 years ago.
But that being said, I don't think anybody in this room or anybody on this council is choosing to use one or the other. I think it's both been in existence a long time, the District A and the West 30s. So I just don't agree that anyone's choosing to just use the West 30s instead of District A. Councilman?
Well, yes, you know, you have the public, you get residents that still, residents in District A that live in the West 30s still refer to their neighborhood as the West 30s. Now, Bishop Soule referred to it as the West 30s tonight. What should we do at that point? Should we call a timeout and say, no, from this point forward, we don't call it West 30s in a meeting. We call it District A. It's something that's gonna take time for people that wanna choose to recall it and name it District A. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen with the council saying, yeah, hey, well, we'll call it District A. You got public out there that's, hey, Rick, I live in the West 30s. What, am I supposed to say, no, you don't? You live in District A.
No, but I will say, and I got it, so to the mayor saying, Ms. Dunn, they got together, and that was history of, that's how the West 30s came to be. We did as a council sit down and say, moving forward, let's try to re-educate, rename, rebrand what that West 30s looks like as Uptown, and we even discussed it, and I want to say we voted on it, and it said, as we move things forward, any kind of publication comes out, we're going to try to use that word as far as Uptown. I correct myself all the time doing it. Matter of fact, I'll say Uptown, someone will say, what are you talking about? It's the West 30s. It is going to take time, just like you said, but if we don't put forth the effort to make it habitual, it'll always stay the West 30s. So
It is the West 30s, and it will always be the West 30s.
It will. I get
Well,
it.
okay, wait, time out. Okay, so I remember it's been a couple years, I think, since this was discussed. So I just looked up our email from Ms. Francis Dunn. Do y'all recall the email?
Absolutely, yeah.
And she indicated, you know, her time doing it, and she talked about how that name specifically was able to help. She said, I'm so grateful for the North Shore Community Foundation and so many others that gave the West 30s Task Force guidance, resources, time, and money. We did not have any idea what the revitalization was all about. She said because it was branded as such, their neighborhood was able, she said a lot of time and resources went into developing the revitalization. They were able to receive grants and everything based off of it. So anyway, I just wanted to pull up her email from a couple years ago.
But what that does not entail is if you go and talk to the NAACP, who has more history, is the West 30s is one street, one strip where Miss Francis lived, is why the West 30s came about. They fixed that one area. Like, you call me West 30s, I live on 26th Street. I mean, that makes no sense. It's a connection between the West 30s redemption and the neighborhood.
No, that has nothing to do with it. The revitalization plan was 10 or 15 years
Mayor,
before the
Mayor,
West
listen to
30s.
me.
The
Listen
West
to-
30s redemption got its name from the West 30s revitalization
Can I
plan.
finish? Can I finish speaking, okay? It is insulting when I constantly read your newsletter, your email blast, and it constantly says the West 30s redemption of the black people, the black community, how much you help us, and it is insulting. We need positive stuff in our community. We need positive words, positive language. You are the leader. If you choose a different name, people will follow. Does that make sense?
It would make sense if I thought the term was derogatory, but I don't.
But you're not my color.
Correct.
Okay, so
Can I offer some context here? I think everyone here on the council knows, I think pretty much everyone in this room understands. Relationships are built on common experience. You do things together, and you form a relationship. Sometimes it's a good relationship, sometimes it's a bad relationship. When I was elected, one of the first things I did before being inaugurated, not knowing Councilman Lewis, is I contacted him. I reached out to him. And I said, we should meet. And we will meet in your neighborhood. And we did. And we took a walk, and I told him my vision of improving the quality of life of the residents of the West 30s. The same thing I said in the Savannas, the same thing I said in River Forest, the same thing I said in Oak Alley. Everywhere I went, I said, my purpose is to improve the quality of life of the residents of the West 30s. Doing that using the police department, which has been a dropping crime in the area, using myself and Public Works on illegal dumping and litter mitigation to clean the neighborhood up, which it looks better today than in my lifetime, and using the West 30s Redemption Company to attack the housing problem, using code enforcement on abandoned houses and illegal dumping. We've made tremendous progress in the neighborhood. At the end of that walking tour, I went home and I looked at my wife and I said, Councilman Lewis, you see how he's looking at me now? That's how he looked at me the first time he met me. Hatred pierced through his eyes at me.
excuse me.
And this was my
Hello.
perception.
Mayor.
Hold on.
Mayor.
Our common experience, for the purpose
We're
of
gonna end this right
context,
now.
for the purpose of context,
Just let him
I
finish.
think you're
If you have a
incompetent.
comment, then we're gonna end it.
You want
okay?
I think he wants to know why I don't communicate with him. You want me to end it, or you want me to say why?
Yeah.
My common experience with him is that Councilman Lewis is incompetent. That he
So
is
that's another one.
that he's
That's
disingenuous.
enough.
I'm not
done
through.
with that.
Hey,
I'm done.
but-
Disingenuous.
No, I am not incompetent. And my resume said, you're incompetent,
So,
sir.
hey,
And you-
wait,
I don't think that.
hey, listen.
You could take that to someone
Let me
else.
say something. I think both of you guys are missing the point. I think Peter is very passionate about improving his community, and I think he's done hard work at doing it, as have you. You've done a tremendous job in that community. Like you said, like even on the tour the other day, the litter abatement, the fixing of the houses and stuff, it's from 4 years ago to now, it's amazing. The stuff that Peter's done, he's rallied the community, he's got Juneteenth going, he's done a lot of different things. Y'all want the same thing, but you got to get on the same page.
You
And I
did
know-
not allow me to finish the context.
Okay, but I'm just saying,
Okay.
is that one thing
I
might have said.
find him to be disingenuous, untrustworthy, and every time I have a meeting with him, a conversation, or exchange an email, someone comes back to me and tells me that he told them that I said something I didn't say, or he omits something I said. The only time I have a problem with Councilman Lewis is when I engage with Councilman Lewis. How can you expect me to communicate with someone who subsequently goes out and tells people that I said things that I didn't say or omits things?
I just.
And that,
No, I agree.
and
I'm saying,
we're talking about my perception here.
You have your perception.
Can I
people-
talk?
wait, let me
I
just
think
say-
I-
Thank
I
you,
think
Mayor.
I'll sum in this
Let me just say
up.
one,
Okay.
let me say just one other thing. Like in most of our districts, like especially mine, people are referred to as like the ozone. They call themselves the ozone. Covington Point calls themselves Covington
I'm
Point.
West 20.
We don't really have, Cody's West 20s, Mark's Old Landing, that area back there. My thing is that I would like to see that y'all are both passionate and working towards the same goal, to be able to work together. I think that would be great. I think it'd be better for the city if you guys are on the same page. And however that has to be done, I would love to see that happen.
I'm going to say this for the record, and I'm not going to say it again. I don't hate Mayor Moore. I have nothing against Mayor Moore. I just dislike his agenda. And that's called politics in my book. Just like I have with any one of you guys. We disagree, we sit down, we work it out, and we move forward. But the name calling, the disrespect, and the do it out in public is not going to happen in my book. I'm an adult. My parents are deceased. Nobody's going to talk to me the way he does. He's going to respect me just like he respects anybody else. Every last one of you guys up here know he. No, I don't want to hear that.
Okay, we're gonna end this meeting, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.